Hello, Forecaster here again, and we are back for episode 42 of the Railcraft server Let's Play. And we are in the construction site of the new base, and as you can see, things have changed a little bit. I had to make some new decisions about the design, and I've reshaped the construction site to correspond with that. And we are about to set up the elevator system. And the first change is that I can't do that thing with the piston bridge that I was intending to do initially. And the reason for that is a bug in Railcraft with the elevator tracks. When the cart is sitting on the elevator track at the top of the powered, wherever the track is powered, it bounces up and down. And it didn't do this in 1.7. In 1.7, it sat still, just statically at the top of the powered track. And as a result of that, I'm going to have to do something different. So we're going to have a floor here, obviously. So we're going to take some tracks. We're going to take a buffer stop track, although I may replace those later on with something else. We're going to have a track of 3 coming off of the elevator track. We're going to have a buffer stop at the end and 2 control tracks facing the elevator. And this is important. They can't face that way by default. They have to face the elevator track. So instead of having the cart sitting on here waiting when it is at the destination, it's going to get off the elevator tracks and sit here being pushed against the buffer stop. Then to control these, we're going to have some redstone paste. I'm going to use this because it's convenient. Like that. You can't do this particular thing with regular redstone. We're going to have a redstone IO block here that is going to power the elevator track and the control track. So if you use regular redstone, this bit works fine. But if you put a piece here, it's going to go off in this direction, and it's not going to power the control track because it requires a direct signal. So you either need to have it come off this side and in there, so it faces the control track. And it doesn't connect to the control track or to the track, which is probably something that could be improved by having the redstone actually see the control track as a connection. Anyway, I'm going to use redstone paste because it is the best solution we have in this mod pack. Now, here is where you're going to sit, or where the cart is going to sit. So this is where you get in. We're going to have a screen, a tier 2 screen, sit on top of the IO block there. So you can see that from here. And that is what you're going to use to choose the floor, of course. Then we're going to grab a tier 2 computer case. We're going to put that behind the IO block here. You're not going to see that. There's going to be a wall here. You are going to see this, though, and that is an unfortunate necessity. Actually, we'll do it like this for now. I may improve that. I think I have an idea on how to improve that in the future. Then we're going to need a processor, a hard drive, graphics card, and a memory card, as well as a Lua BIOS EEPROM. We're going to put all of those in the computer, and that. Then we are going to take the disk drive that I have, We'll put that there for now. This is not a permanent installation. So this is the client. This represents one of the floors. And then we're going to take the rack, the server, terminal server, and the remote terminal. And we are going to place them in this little server room I've made here. In the server, which is a tier 1 server, we have a Lua BIOS, we have a graphics card, network card, CPU, memory, and a hard drive. Pretty much the same stuff that is in the computer. We have a terminal server. We're going to have that in the bottom slot. And let's see. Then we are going to pick up a network card for the computer. We're going to pick up some cables. And we're going to take these relays that I've made. The computer needs a network card as well. Then we're going to place the relay in between the client and the server rack. They need to place this there. Now, what the relay does is it separates these two setups. So normally these cables will transfer or allow a computer or server to see components. For example, this Redstone IO block here is a component. The disk drive is a component as well, I suppose. And the screen is a component. Actually, the screen doesn't count as a component, I don't think. Let's focus on the Redstone IO block. So, without the relay here, if we went into this server, booted it up into OpenOS, and started the Lua prompt and enlisted all of the components, or just used the component program, I suppose, it would see this Redstone IO block. Now, in this particular setup, that's probably fine. But if we were to, above here, set up another client like this, and we would have a cable go up, and we would have another Redstone IO block, the server would see that as well, as would this client. And if we have enough, we're going to exceed the 8 component limit of this processor. And keep in mind that each computer has a number of components as well. For example, the network card and the GPU counts as a component as well. And they add up pretty quickly. Now, if we have a relay here instead, this server and the client, the theoretical client above, will not see this Redstone IO block because the relay stops component signals. It only allows network signals, that is, signals sent through a modem or a network card of some description. So we're going to have one of these between each client and each server, or, well, the one server. I also made a couple of power distributors, and what you can do, jeez, overheating. I think there was some water up here. It's frozen, but that's fine. Let's make a little spa here. Oh. Well, that didn't help. Clearly it's too cold here. Jeez. Don't know if torches help a lot. No, that's even worse. Crap. It's because it's open to the outside, probably. Wonder if closing this opening off would actually fix that. to need more crack rock. Well, this is annoying. Almost thought there was a skeleton there. Get rid of the snow as well, just in case that makes things worse. Okay, no. Water doesn't help here. I think the heater on its own might, though. Maybe long torches. Pretty sure torches produce a small amount of heat. Maybe if you're close enough. Stupid hypothermia. Could use another heating coil, I think. I'm going to be back when I'm warm again. So I'll see you in a bit. Alright, we are back. I made another heating coil, and I heated up sufficiently, I think. So, where were we? I think I explained the relay sufficiently. So let's keep setting this up. So we have this on the left side, which is the green side. So we're going to want to connect these. Now, the thin line is the network connection, and the thick line is the component connection. And we need the network connection for the elevator functions, of course, and we need the component connection to connect the server to the terminal server, which we need to interact with it. So first we're going to grab this. We're going to move that over here. And we can put that on this side because this has the component connection. Put the OpenOS disk in there. We also need power, so we're going to put that there and then charge it up with the energy pack. And then we should be able to boot this up. And then we're going to connect the remote terminal to the terminal server, which is connected to the server. And that's going to allow us to interact with it. First, we're going to install OpenOS from the floppy drive. And then over here, we have the elevator stuff. Now they are... whoops. Actually, I just realized that we don't have an internet card here. So what we're going to have to do is head back to the base and download the programs on our computer here, which is actually down here. And we should have the floppy disk. Is that in the robot? Yes. We'll use this. And we'll put that in here. Fortunately, the tier 3 case has a built-in floppy drive because I grabbed that one to use over there. Right. I also grabbed the keyboard. So I guess we're making a new one, which is simple enough. Let's see, we need 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. We need 4 of these. So we need that. And then we need those. Then we actually need more stone. So throw some in there. And we need 9 more buttons. So we need 1 of you. 4 of you. And 1 of you. That'll get us a keyboard, and then we can use the computer. So I'm going to go to the... Come on. My system's locked up a bit there. Going to go to the repository on the ender.net, which I showed in a previous episode. I guess I'll put a link in the description of this video if I remember. If I don't, feel free to remind me. And then we are going to... I'm going to open the... And I'm not showing this because I don't think you really need to see it. I'm going to copy the link address to the raw version of the elevator server program. And then I'm going to get that. And I'm going to copy it to mount. And then the floppy drive. Now, I don't know if... I think I need to specify the name. I don't think a wildcard will work, although I'm not sure. Maybe you don't need to specify anything. That's the server. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the client version. And then mount there. What's file already exists, huh? Okay. Right, no, that doesn't work. Elevator client.lua. So now we have both of those on the floppy drive. Floppy disk, I mean. So now we'll be able to copy those to the clients and server through the floppy drive. Since we can't download them directly on the things. Okay, block this off to keep the heat in if possible. Right, so we have OpenOS there. We're going to reboot that, to reboot from the hard drive, switch the disks around. And now we're going to copy from mount floppy drive, and we want the elevator server. Want to name the same. And now what we need to do is create a file that is going to have the floor data, and that lives on the server. It's going to be called just floors, no extension. And then this is going to be a serialized table, which is going to contain other tables. And the format for that. It needs the keys number, which is the floor number, of course. So let's call this floor 1. And then we have name, which is a string. Let's call this or processing. And then address, which is also a string. Current, which is a Boolean. And I think that's it. Actually, let's have a look. I have my floors file here. Right, and that needs a redstone side. I think that was north. So that would make that east. So this should be this cardinal direction of the redstone IO, which is connected to these. And I'm pretty sure that is north. I can't actually tell that from the debug menu. That would make that east. Or was that way north? No, I think that way is north. So we want east. So redstone side. Wait, no quotes around that. I don't think that works. So east. And that is a floor defined. And then you just do this for each floor. And they don't have to be in order, although I think the order they are in the table affects the order they appear on the screen. I can't get in there. I guess we're raising the roof or the ceiling a little bit. Raise the roof. So that's the server setup. Now we're going to wait with starting that. Let's set up the client, the first client. And I want my timer back. Oh, right. We also want power. So the relay does not transfer power. But the cables do. But if you want to... What happened to my cables? Oh, there they are. I didn't see them. But if we connect a cable around the relay, like were to put one here, the components would connect. So the solution to that is the power distributor. This will block component connections, same as the relay, but it will transfer power or allow power to pass through. It also blocks network signals, of course. So now we have power from the MFE here being transferred or being used by the server, and also this computer here. So now we can start this. There we go. And this will run off this MFE. If we didn't have the power distributor here, this would have no power. So first we're going to install OpenOS. Put the disk in there already, in case you missed that. Now, we're going to want... I'm going to set up 2 floors on camera, basically. So we're going to have this current floor, which is the which is going to be the ore processing setup. Now I don't know how far down I should go. Probably the reactor should be pretty far down. But if I make it too far, it's going to... we're going to lose a bunch of power when it's being transferred back up. Fortunately, we don't need all that much distance to prevent explosions from reaching up. Especially if I make... Oh, okay. Especially if I make... or encase it in more reinforced stone. Oh, whoops. Let's fill this back in. Like that. This will do. So let's... Yeah, I think... Pretty sure the Groot can't fly. Okay, good thing I made more elevator tracks. Kind of running out of time though. Shame I can't make more time. Okay, that'll do. I'll remove those elevator tracks later. So that's done. We can remove this. Put this in. And then copy from floppy drive. And we of course want the client this time. Now, the client doesn't need any files on it except the actual program. What we're going to do is we're going to take this network card and I'm going to do MineTweaker hand on it. And as you can see, it prints the address here, which is stored as NBT data in the item. And then from the console here, we can copy that. And then we're going to pop into the server. We're going to paste that into the address field here in the floor definition. That allows the client to tell which of these entries it is. So this client will compare each entry that the server sends it with the address here and the address of its network card. And we'll be able to tell. That way, if you move this, if you use the same network card, it will still remember which floor it is. So now we're going to... Let's put this crag rock away because I don't need it. We're going to grab the stuff we need for another client. So we need a graphics card, memory. Take this one that has an address already. We need a redstone. Put these away. Block. Put that and that away. Take one of those and two of those. I think that should do it. Then we're going down here. We'll remove this. And here's where the reactor is going to be. Well, on this level. So I didn't grab a screen, did I? Anyway, we're going to put a redstone IO block there. Then the computer is going to be here. And then the screen will be on top of there. Put all of this stuff inside. Then you can see now that in the tooltip there's no address. When we put the network card in, it gets an address. Then we can copy that. Put in the memory. Didn't I grab the drive either? Okay. Back up here. We need you. And then we can use the remote terminal to get into here. And we're going to add another entry, which I'm going to call -1. Say reactor, and then address. We're going to copy this address, insert, and then current should be false. Only one should be true. And then side should be the same, so it's east. And then close that, and then we need to add a comma at the end of there, otherwise the floor file will not parse correctly, and the server will complain. Okay. I pressed... Whoops. I just minimized everything. Dang it. Ah, well. So, first off is the OpenOS disk. I didn't pick up a screen. We're pretty much out of time as well, so that's great. We also need the keyboard. I'm going to start the client. Oh. That's not supposed to look for that. Okay. I was hoping to have this up and running in this episode, but it looks like we're going to have to continue in the next one, unfortunately. And we are pretty much out of time anyway. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut the episode short here. Here, we're going to have some cables going down. So we're going to connect the power distributor as well, of course. Maybe I should have... Where's the elevator shaft? Huh. Probably need to do this the other way. Oh. Well, hello. Okay, so we're going to have a relay. Whoops. There. And a power distributor there. And then we're going to hook those up like that. Right. I'm going to finish this off camera. Probably set up the client as well and find the issue in the client program, because it's not supposed to be looking for a floors file. That was an old solution. And we'll be back to get this hopefully working in the next episode. So I will see you then.